Hello everybody, welcome to Red Hills Primary School, and this is a video with information for new early years foundation stage starters who are going to join the school in September 2020. First of all, I'm going to start with a little bit of an introduction to members of staff. So I'm Kate Newland, hello, I'm a reception teacher and I generally work on Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and there's a photo of me in the top left hand corner, and just next to me, just to the right of me there, is Kim West, and she's my job share and she works on a Thursday and a Friday. In the bottom left-hand corner, we've got Nikki Bede. She's a higher level teaching assistant and she teaches the class on a Wednesday afternoon when she tends to do loads of really lovely art and creative craft activities. And then next to her, to the right of her, we've got Eve Perry. She's a reception teacher as well and she's currently on maternity leave. Then in the middle, we've got Mr. Jaworski. He's the head teacher at Red Hills. And in the right-hand corner, we've got Miss Wills, Kim Wills. She's the deputy head and she's also the head of early years foundation stage. Settling in. So normally we would have your children in school with us. We would be having a lot of transition visits, which is when your child comes to school and they have a really nice play in the classroom. They get to know the members of staff and get really used to and comfortable with the environment that we have at Red Hills. Obviously at the moment we can't do that, but rest assured that we are making arrangements for September, and as soon as we know how things are going to work, we're going to let you know, and that the children are still going to be really well looked after, really comfortable, and we're going to do our best to make sure that they settle in as quickly and as happily as possible. Normally, as part of our transition arrangements, we do home visits, which involves us coming to your house for sort of 10 or 15 minutes at a pre-arranged time, and we have a bit of a chat and we get to know your children. We might read a story with them and we drop off a book bag. Now, obviously, because of the way things are at the moment, although we would really love to still be able to do that, we're not going to be able to do things in the way that we normally would. So what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to still have a home visit at some point later on in the term, and we'll be getting in contact with you about doing that in a socially distanced way. So we would come a bit like a delivery man or a postman does at the moment, and knock on your door and drop off your book bag and some written information, and be able to answer any little questions that you might have and say hello to your children, but still do it in a socially distanced way, which is safe. So we will hopefully be getting in contact with you about that soon. And obviously, as soon as we know what's going to happen in September, how we're going to group the children, and if we need to do things in a slightly different way, we will let you know as soon as we possibly can. But we are really looking forward to your children starting with us in September, really looking forward to the new Cherry class, and just hoping that your child is happy and excited about coming to school. Okay, so now we're getting on to things your child will need to bring with them when they start school. And the first thing is a book bag, which we will give you, and you should keep your reading record and your child's reading book in there. The second thing is a water bottle, which we ask to just be filled with water, please, not juice or fizzy drinks or squash, because the children get very thirsty, they're running around a lot, and water is the best way to keep them hydrated and also to look after their teeth. The third thing is a fruit snack. We do give the children fruit at school every day, and it could be a banana or an apple or a pear. It gets delivered to the school. But if your child is very fussy and they will only eat grapes or they will only eat an apple, you're welcome to send them in with their own fruit snack. And we just ask that if it's something small like grapes, please can you cut them up into small bits, just to be nice and safe. The fourth thing is a waterproof coat. So we like to go out and about a lot. We've got rabbits, we've got chickens. We're always on the playground at lunchtimes and playtimes, and we use our outdoor learning area a lot. So having a waterproof coat so children can stay warm and dry is really important. And the next thing really is for September when we go back to school, because it's obviously still quite hot. If it's looking like it's going to be a hot day, bear in mind the fact your child will be playing outside, so it could be a good idea to apply some long-lasting sun cream to them before they come to school, and also to provide them with a sun hat. And the next thing is about medication. So if your child is asthmatic, for example, please can you provide them with a spare inhaler that we can keep at school, and you'll need to fill out a form just to say that you are happy for us to administer that at school. And similarly, if your child has any allergies, if they're allergic to dairy products or strawberries or nuts, please can you let us know as soon as possible so we can be aware in the classroom, and also we can make all the other staff in school aware, and we can let our kitchens know, and we can provide special meals to cater for those dietary requirements if we need to. I'm going to say a bit about lunches in the next slide, but the next thing is just to say, if you want to bring a packed lunch for your child, it's optional. We do provide school lunches, but if your child would be happier bringing a packed lunch, then they are very welcome to do so. Okay, so now we're on to school lunches. School lunches are free for children in the early years foundation stage, and also for all the children in year 1 and year 2. The school lunches at Red Hills are very delicious. They're all cooked on site by our amazing kitchen team from scratch every day. And there's a great choice of a main course, a vegetarian course. We also have jacket potatoes, and we have wraps, and there is an extensive salad bar. So there is always something that your child is probably going to enjoy eating. But if you would prefer it, you are welcome to send your child with a packed lunch. Some parents, particularly in the early days, really want their child to have a proper cooked lunch every day, but they're aware that maybe their child won't eat very much, so they send them with a packed lunch as a backup. And you're welcome to do that if that is what you would like to do, because we really feel the most important thing is that your child is happy and they are eating, and they have enough food inside them to give them energy to do the best in their learning. Okay, so now we're getting on to our curriculum, which is what we teach the children at school, and we follow the early years foundation stage curriculum, and that comprises literacy, which is reading, which we teach through Phonics, and also writing. So we give the children lots and lots of opportunity to practice their mark making. They have paint, they have crayons, they have chalk, and they have lots and lots of different kinds of bits and colours of paper so that they can really get the first skills of writing in. And then obviously as their phonics develops, we teach them how to record those sounds as well. For maths, we have number, which is counting, and being able to recognise numerals, and also to be able to match the numeral to the amount of objects. And we also have shape, space and measure, which is shape, it's repeating pattern, and things like that. And then we have understanding the world, which is the world and people and communities, and also technology. Then we have personal, social and emotional development. So that is made into making relationships, so how well they get on with the other children and the adults in the class, and managing feelings and behaviour, and also self-confidence and self-awareness. So how happy is your child? Are they confident? Are they able to express themselves effectively? And then we get on to physical development, which is broken into moving and handling, which really is a mixture of gross motor skills. So that's things like climbing, jumping, running, and big movements. And then fine motor skills, which is having the strength in your finger and your thumb to be able to manipulate small toys and make shapes with Play-Doh and squeeze things, and ultimately to be able to hold a pencil effectively to write and form letters. So we do lots and lots of work on strengthening the children's hands and fingers through lots and lots of play activities, so that ultimately they develop the skills and the strength in their hands to be able to write really, really nicely. And they also have health and self-care, so that's if your child's able to go to the toilet on their own, to wash their hands, to be able to feed themselves and get dressed, and just know a little bit about what people need to do to stay healthy. The next part of the curriculum is expressive arts and design, which is media and materials. So that's things like paint, Play-Doh, crafting things with glitter and colouring pencils and all those other lovely things. And as I said earlier, Nikki Bede tends to do a lot of that with children on a Wednesday afternoon, which they really, really enjoy. And also being imaginative. So we have a role play area, we have a puppet theatre, we have baby dolls, we have tough trays, which are big trays on the table, which are full of lovely, we change them regularly, so they're full of lovely little worlds that the children can really immerse themselves in and really just get those imaginative juices flowing and encourage them to be able to be imaginative and create up wonderful stories and just really, really develop their creative thinking skills. The other thing that we focus on is the bit at the bottom where it says characteristics of effective learning, and that's broken into 3 areas which we assess and think about how the children are developing as the year goes on, and that's playing and exploring, active learning, and also creating and thinking critically. And these are all skills that help the children develop into good lifelong independent learners as they progress through school. Now, how do we learn at Red Hills? How do we actually teach the children? Well, we do it in a mixture of ways. So first of all, we have independent learning. So these are activities that we've set up inside the classroom or in the outdoor area, which is just outside the classroom. And really, they look like play activities, and they are play activities. But each one has a specific learning intention so that the children are actually learning. They're not just playing. They think they're playing and they're having a wonderful time, but actually everything's been very carefully planned and set out so that the children are acquiring a skill as they are learning, which is linked to our curriculum. The other things that we do is we have a phonics session every day, and that's usually quite short. We start off really short, it's about 10 minutes, and we teach the children phonics sounds and how to read. We also have a whole class session every day in maths. And we also have circle times, and we have whole class reading, which is where the whole class reads and shares the same book over the course of a week, and we help the children develop their attention and their thinking skills, and also we ask them questions to see how well they've understood the book, and they get to know one text really, really well, and that all helps feed into their reading skills. We also do guided work, which is either one-to-one with an adult, and the children would tend to do one piece of guided writing and one piece of guided maths with a teacher on their own every week. And they also would work with adults in small groups. So if we've picked up that there's a particular skill that the children need more practice on, then they would be in what we would call an intervention group, which would just be a small group of children working with an adult to develop what we think they need work on. And then sometimes we might also do that one-to-one with a child as well. We're also really lucky at Red Hills that we have a specialist higher level teaching assistant for PE. So the children have a PE lesson 4 times a week with Miss Knight Pacheco, and that is a range of different things. It's outside on the playground doing assault courses or ball skills or playing with hula hoops. And then on a Friday, we tend to go into the hall and the children will learn something like hockey, or they will have an amazing assault course with lots and lots of soft play. And it's also really good for them to learn how to look after the equipment and take turns and share. And the children really enjoy that. We're really lucky to have that resource. The bit at the bottom is just to make you aware that in the first few weeks of term we do something called a baseline assessment, which we piloted. It's the government scheme that we piloted in September, worked really well, and it just involves us spending sort of about 15 to 20 minutes alone with your child, still in the classroom, just working through some different play activities to gauge where they are when they start school, and that gives us a good idea of what they can do and what they need work on, so that we're able to target what the children need to do next and move them on with their learning. The next thing is Tapestry. Now, we use Tapestry, which is an online learning journal, and we will send you a login for that. And it's a way of us recording what your child's doing in the classroom. So if they're playing in the role play and they're engaged in a really amazing imaginative game with their friends, we can take a photo of that and we can write a little comment and we can link it to an area of the curriculum, and we can show what your child's achieving. And obviously that works the same for maths and PE, and art and craft and being imaginative and all of that kind of thing. So it's a really good way of us being able to document what your children are doing at school and build up a really good base of evidence for us to be able to assess how well your child's learning. And Tapestry is a two-way thing, so you are also able to take pictures of things your child's doing at home and put it onto Tapestry for us to see and approve and add to your child's journal, because there are things that your children do at home that they don't do at school, like they might have swimming lessons, or they might be riding a bike without stabilizers, or they might suddenly write an amazing picture and some writing for one of their grandparents or a friend. And it's really nice for us to be able to share in their achievements and their learning at home. So you will be finding out more information about that soon. Please, when you get your Tapestry invitation, activate it. And if you're having any trouble at all, just let us know and we should be able to help you with it. Now getting on to phonics, and we're going to start in September using a new phonics scheme, which is synthetic phonics, and it's read, write, ink. It's a really good scheme, and phonics is a way of us teaching children to recognise the sounds that letters make and be able to blend them together to be able to read. And I also want to say a little bit about reading at home, which is that very, very early on in term, your child will be given a reading book to keep in their book bag with a reading record. And the idea is that that will go home every night and it will come back to school in the morning. And we would encourage you to read with your child, ideally for a short period every night. But if you can't do that, then 3 or 4 times a week is absolutely fine. And it kind of goes without saying that the more reading you do at home, the more you share books and stories, the better progress and the quicker your child will make progress at reading. And we start off by giving the children a lilac reading book, which is a book with pictures and no words. And that just encourages them to be able to turn the pages and talk about the story. And as soon as we feel they've picked up a bit of phonics, which is usually quite quickly, and they're able to blend the words, then we will change that for a pink level reading book, which has proper words and will enable your child to continue to make progress with reading. So we really need your support with reading at home. Please talk to us if you've got any worries or problems about it. And we're just trying to encourage you to support us with that as much as you possibly can. And we give children little prizes if we feel they're doing really, really well with their reading at home. Okay, the last bit is about us and how we're going to hope to stay in touch with you and get everything ready for September. So you will be receiving some written information, so that will just be school policies and a welcome booklet and some forms to fill in and things like that. As I already said, we're going to try and do home visits, so we will hopefully arrange a time where we can come and in a socially distanced way, because of the way we've got to work at the moment, we will be able to drop off your book bag to you and say hello to your children, but still make sure that everybody is safe. Obviously, it's a bit of an anxious time sometimes for parents when children are starting school, so if you've got any questions or any worries that you'd like to ask us about, please just get in touch, email us, give us a ring, and we will do our very best to sort out anything that you want to know. When I've said story times, I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and record some stories and put them up onto YouTube and send you the link so that you can listen to stories that we're reading with your children, so your children are able to just get a little bit more familiar with us. And we think that would be really nice. We're also going to try and put some pictures and videos up of Red Hills and what it's like in the classroom, things like where the coats areas are, and just really try and do the best we can to make sure your children are as familiar as possible of what it's going to be like in September when they start school. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope that we've given you a bit of an idea about what it might be like in September. And obviously, if there's anything else you'd like to know, or there's any way we can help, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you. Goodbye.